Dom here from Essential RC. Thanks very much for tuning in for another flight test. We have here a new box that arrived this morning from our friends at BANGGOOD.com. This is the EACHINE Airloader. What is this? It's a design specifically for ultra long range first person view flight, FPV. So a lot of these models are designed so they can carry enormous batteries so you can fly long distances, and designed for FPV so you can get your different types of FPV camera and video transmitter on board. This one in terms of size is 1.28 meter wingspan and 0.82 meters length. It's made of EPO, so it's going to be very durable to any knocks that we might give it. So we've got the plug and play version, probably comes in kit version as well without the motors and ESCs and servos, but this is plug and play. By default it comes in a pusher setup, one motor, one ESC and a prop, but you can set it up as a twin. It comes with the mounts, but it doesn't come with the motors and the props apparently to do that. If you really wanted to go crazy, you could set it up with 3 motors apparently. Don't know why you would want to do that. Maybe for more power if you're carrying a lot of FPV equipment. But we're going to go with the single motor pusher configuration. So let's take the components out of the box. Let's see what we get. Okay, so here we go, all the components out of the box. So looking at the fuselage first. Looks very much like a Hoover. God. It's a very strange design, this thing, not like any other FPV model I've ever had to look at. But so fuselage, which you know, as I said, inside here, the enormous space for a battery in there, even 2 batteries that you parallel together for more capacity. But the idea is this is the fuselage, and then you've got the tail boom, very rigid square boxed aluminium, which I guess is great. So it's for, you know, it won't twist or bend in flight, but it's not going to be the prettiest looking thing. But it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be functional. And then you've got this compartment in the back, which is where your ESC is. It's hinged unusually. Not quite sure what that intake is for. Maybe it can only be for cooling for the speed controller, because it's certainly not for cooling of the motor. That's out in the breeze. Other features, you've got these nice vents on the side. That will help to cool the battery, I guess. And then in the front, obviously lots of options for putting in your GoPro or a small FPV camera. These are nice. Pads underneath, and very solid as well for protecting the foam on landing on rough surfaces. That's nice. The motor looks like it's angled correctly for a pusher, but there's no side thrust built into it, which is a bit unusual for a pusher. Then we've got horizontal and vertical stabilizers with elevator and rudder, already hooked up to the servos, so nothing to do there. Wings the same, flaps and, well, the option for flaps, and we got ailerons already hooked up to the servo. No servo there for the flaps, but the horn is there. And nice how these horns are very well integrated into the control surfaces. They're definitely not going to pull out. Very, very good. And then we've, as I said, this can be set up as a twin as well. So you've got these extra pieces to mount the motors if you wanted to go with the twin approach. But you would have to invest in the motors and speed controllers for that. Looks like we have an extra piece to put in the nose for mounting a GoPro session or a Runcam 2 or something like that, which is good. And little bags of other bits and pieces as well, cables and the prop, obviously, anti-slip material. Oh no, I'm not quite sure what that's for. We'll work that out. I've got the instructions over here for the speed controller and assembly, and got some decals as well. So let's crack on and put this together, and I will highlight any build steps along the way. Okay, so first thing I did was install the tail boom, and it was a very tight fit in here. The aluminium square tube has 2 holes drilled in it, which you need to align with these 2 holes in the foam. So I literally had to hold the model and bang it on the table just to progressively get it into that hole, because it was a very, very tight fit. But lined up the holes and then put those 2 screws in. Easily done. For some reason you get 2 spars, but I put one through the fuselage and then slotted the wings on, and then put the screws on, the thumb screws inside to keep those wings on. So that's what I've done so far. So we can close up that. Next step to put assemble the tail, I think. So I've attached the horizontal stabilizer and elevator with 2 thumb screws underneath, no problem. But subsequently what I found is, and what is kind of obvious after you've done it, is that the servo lead for the elevator is supposed to go inside the aluminium square boom all the way up to the fuselage. So that would be great if I could remove this so I could pull it out the other end. But I can't, because I can't get these screws out now. So I'm going to have to fish around inside the fuselage and see if I can pull it out that way. Otherwise I'm going to have to tape it alongside the boom, which I'm not keen to do. So it's a case of don't do what I do, but do what I say. In that, make sure that you thread the servo lead, and there's an extension for it, inside this aluminium boom before you slot it inside the fuselage. So fortunately that worked. I pushed the servo lead all the way up the aluminium tube and it popped out the other end, much to my relief. Although I did have to unscrew the thumb screw so the servo extension could get past and go down the tube. So what to do next is to put on the vertical stabilizer. Now what I'm really surprised at is that you're supposed to fix it on with the 3M double-sided tape. I've never had that before. I'm not sure if it's not going to have a lot of force on it, I guess, but I've never had something applied like that applied by tape. So I'm going to do what they say and probably add a little bit of glue at the front here for where it does contact the horizontal stabilizer on the front. Just go with what they suggest and see if that works. So vertical stabilizer, rudder attached, and of course, as with the elevator, because I'd already put the aluminium boom in place, I had to thread the servo lead for the rudder all the way through here, which was completely painful and took longer than it should have done. What I should have done in the first place is put both of the servo extensions in this before I attached it into the fuselage or screwed anything to the back of it. So that is the first thing that you must do if you buy one of these EACHINE Airloaders. Otherwise, what have I done? I've applied the decals, and I want to point out that there is a pitot tube, bit of foam with a tube in it, should you want to transmit the airspeed from a pitot tube sensor to your OSD in your goggles, then that's quite a nice feature. It can go on either side of the front of the fuselage or on top there, I think. I've got my DJI cam ready to go, so I just cut 2 bits of ply and attached it to that, and I'll put that in the front, balanced on the CG with a 4S 5000 pack. On the front, you'll see I've put that bit of mesh with 2 holes in it, so that suits you know, a mini FPV cam and a GoPro, all similar. But there are other, it comes with other bits of mesh as well, should you want to go with other different action cameras or mini FPV cameras. A few options there. So that's it. So let's get this down the flying field. I'm going to do this as one video actually, because this was so quick to build. Let's get this down the flying field and get this in the air. Alright, so here I am with Jason down the flying field. It is blowing an absolute gale, but we're very keen to fly the Airloader for the first time. So we've got a 4S pack in it. It's all balanced out on the CG. We're not going to fly FPV today or even have an onboard camera. We just want to see how this very strange looking RC aircraft flies. Alright?
It's like a blobfish.
It's been called many things. I haven't called it, we haven't heard it called that. But let's see if it flies like that. Globfish, did you say?
It's blobfish, yeah.
Alright.
Let's go.
Get it in the air.
Alright, let's go. Get a hand launch. It's windy. I reckon I can fly backwards. There's backwards.
Bring it in, Jay.
Alright.
That's enough. I'm getting windburn. So there we go, that's the Airloader. So probably
that is blowing a gale, but do you know what, considering how, I mean, this is horrible wind, it flew really well, to be fair, given how much it's flexing around. As a stable FPV platform, I think it would be great, especially on a calmer day. I mean, it is just too windy today, isn't it, Dom? You know, I mean,
it's too windy for anything. It's too windy for kite flying.
It's too windy for us.
Yeah.
So given the wind, I think it done really well.
Yeah.
So let's try it on a calmer day.
The only thing about this, it is probably the most odd looking and strangely designed FPV aircraft we've ever had the joy of putting together and flying.
It's certainly not going to win a beauty pageant.
No, it's not, but it's functional, and it needs a lot of FPV gear up front to balance it out.
I mean, we put 3 packs in there just for balance, so you can take a lot of cargo in here.
Yeah.
So you could put your GoPro in here, you could put your DJI HD, your VTX, your flight controller, everything will go in there without any problem. I mean, it's like a shoe in there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit ugly, but very functional.
Yeah. Okay, Jason, thanks very much for the flight, mate.
No problem.
And there it is. The link for the EACHINE Airloader is in the video description and the pinned comment. If you liked this video, then please give us a thumbs up. We depend on thumbs up. And you might want to subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications as well of all our future uploads and live streams. Thanks for watching. We're going home now. Bye.
See you later. It's windy. I reckon I can fly backwards. There's backwards.